With India, their space is certainly that hopefully they're able to ratchet down tensions right now. I think from India's view anyways, the relationship is tension on multiple fronts. You've got a massive trade imbalance in China's favor. You've got increased troop clashes along the border. China's expanding its maritime presence across the region there. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a positive agenda, but at least they can dial down tensions bilaterally. That would be helpful. But so far, we don't see a lot of signs that, particularly from Beijing, they're looking to do that. So when you think about the Quad, one of the reasons, there was a false start 17 years ago when the four countries first met, and a long delay. But China's increased aggressiveness in the region is really the main driver to bring these countries together and look for spaces. So hopefully tensions get ratcheted down, but this is a fail-safe just in case they don't.
Would it be fair to say, Richard, that the Quad, as it is now, as it's evolved, has become much more, especially within the last year or so, much more, it's informal, right? But much more political in the sense that it likes to come out with these China statements, et cetera, or ostensibly against China. And the practical tip of the spear is left for groupings more like, or deals more like AUKUS.
So far, but again, we'll see the evolution. It's really kicking into overdrive right now. Quad summits are, they promised to have an annual meeting of ministers, and then 2 times virtually, and then in person, the leaders are getting together. So I would just say it's still a young organization. We don't know what it's going to evolve into. They have chosen not to make this, some kind of overt military partnership. We do have a Malabar naval exercise that happens, which all 4 countries participate in now. But they're trying to avoid calling that a Quad exercise. So they're trying to keep some space between what the Quad is doing right now and military cooperation. Could it evolve in that space in the future? I think a lot of eyes are on it.
Richard, you were talking a couple of minutes ago about vaccine cooperation. I guess it's good that India finally is able to start exporting its vaccines. What about climate change, though? Is the Quad going to make move much on that?
I don't think there's a whole lot of space, because I think the agenda is going to be largely driven by what happens at the UN summit later this year and major multilaterals like that. Can these 4 countries cobble together a shared agenda to present that for the rest of the world? It seems like it's going to be pretty difficult. India certainly has made strong commitments on climate change, but is having a difficult time following those through because of own challenges they've got about trying to reduce coal utilization in the country. But what they could do, is some smaller steps, offer access to financing, try to share in technical cooperation and research, because we all are frankly beholden to China, which is the major producer of a lot of the equipment that goes into climate change, combating climate change. So I think if at least for our own markets, we can begin to cooperate a bit more and share a bit more, trade a bit more in those sensitive items that China has managed to sort of dominate manufacturing flows, that's useful. But the 4 countries coming together with a common position on global talks, I think that's going to be a little bit tougher to cobble together.